medications. I'm going to be talking about the different types of medications that you will either come across or be prescribed, or someone you care for will be subscribed. Please subscribe. Someone else will be prescribed. I'm talking about the main ones for mental illness. There are lots of meds that you will be prescribed if you have mental illness, as well as other illnesses, but these are the four main meds. I wanted to give a nice overview for all of them because it should hopefully help people who are trying to find out a bit more about what they do, what the side effects are, and the different brand names as well. I've taken the information from the National Institute of Mental Health. I've got a really great, really detailed thing on all of the medications. I've taken the most important information from that site today to share with you, but please click on that link below because there's so many more details that we can talk about. This is also an overview of medication. I'm going to be breaking them down into other videos. I will be talking about some of the terms I will be referring to today. So this is an overview, and I will do my best to keep it as concise as possible. But you know what I'm like. So there are four medication types that you are likely to be prescribed, or someone you care for will be prescribed if you have mental illness. Antidepressants, anti-anxiety, antipsychotic, and mood stabilisers. So what are they? So antidepressants, these are medicines commonly used to treat depression. Antidepressants are also used for other mental health conditions such as anxiety, pain, and insomnia. The most popular types of antidepressants are called selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or SSRIs. And it's very likely if you have recently been diagnosed with depression, or if you are battling with mental illness but you're not really sure, or you haven't had a proper diagnosis, it's likely that the first line of treatment that you will go on will be an antidepressant, because that's kind of the first line of treatment that people have. And usually if you are given an SSRI, a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, it's likely that that will help with your anxiety if you have anxiety. But like I say, the first line of treatment is usually an antidepressant in the form of an SSRI. So examples of these: fluoxetine, also known as Prozac, citalopram, sertraline, paroxetine, and escitalopram. I've actually been on two of the meds on this one. So citalopram, I was given when I was first diagnosed with mental health problems, mental illness. I was given citalopram. Once I'd been on that for a few years, it didn't seem to do its job as well. I went off that and went on to sertraline, which is another one. I then, that didn't really work out with me. I was on that for maybe 2 years, but then they put me on to my third line of treatment, which is actually an SNRI. So this stands for serotonin and norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors. I'll be explaining more about SNRIs and SSRIs in another video. This is just an overview. So other types of antidepressants are also known as SNRIs, and these are things like venlafaxine and duloxetine, and I'm actually on duloxetine now. That is my current antidepressant, and I'm on 60 milligrams a day. Side effects of antidepressants, these are the most common ones: nausea, vomiting, weight gain. Unfortunately, weight gain is a very common side effect with most mental health tablets, mental illness tablets. It's a really annoying thing, especially if you're suffering with like an eating disorder or body dysmorphia. The last thing you want to do is to put on weight, but unfortunately some of them do make you increase your appetite, and that is unfortunately a very common side effect. Not all people put on weight, not everyone puts on weight, and not every tablet makes you put on weight, but it's one of the most common, I would say. Other things such as diarrhea, sleepiness, so it could upset your tummy, it could make you more drowsy. My antidepressants actually say they cause drowsiness. They don't really cause me drowsiness, but my other meds do cause a lot of drowsiness, and I'll come on to those shortly. So that's antidepressants. I'll be doing more detail at a later date, I promise. So anti-anxiety medications is number 2. These help reduce the symptoms of anxiety, such as panic attacks or extreme fear and worry. The most common anti-anxiety medications are called benzodiazepines. Benzodiazepines can treat generalised anxiety disorder, and in the case of panic disorder or social phobia, benzodiazepines are usually the second line of treatment behind SSRIs and other antidepressants. So, as I said earlier, if you do have anxiety, they're more likely to put you on an antidepressant to start with, because the anti-anxiety medications come with it addictive properties. I mean, the names that you will get for anti-anxiety are things like clonazepam, alprazolam, and lorazepam. Now, lorazepam is actually, I think, Valium. So these are things that really will mellow you out. And if you have severe anxiety, they can be very, very helpful. But these can also bring with them some side effects such as drowsiness, dizziness, nausea, tiredness, blurred vision, headache, confusion, and even nightmares. I have nightmares because of my meds. I've had nightmares for years and years. So it can make your nightmares worse if you're already prone, or it can make them more frequent if you already have them. And as I said, second line of treatment behind. So this won't be the first treatment that you will get if you've already been given an SSRI and that's working and that's taking effect. It's unlikely you'll be put straight onto an anti-anxiety. Depends on the severity, depends on it depends on the individual, and it depends what other mental illnesses they have. But like I say, anti-anxiety is usually the second line of treatment. Antidepressants are usually the first. I don't know how many more times I can say that. Hey, number 3, anti-psychotics. Now, when I first heard of an antipsychotic, I was really freaked out, because I was like, oh, because I'm on an antipsychotic, and I was like, oh, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm a psycho? What does it mean? Well, it's used to manage, these meds are used to manage psychosis. So we've talked about, please check out my video on psychosis. The word psychosis is used to describe conditions that affect the mind, in which there has been some loss of contact with reality, so often including delusions. Now, delusions are false or fixed beliefs, so you're having a belief about something that isn't actually real, or hallucinations, so hearing, seeing, or smelling things that aren't there. It can be a symptom of a physical condition such as drug abuse, or a mental disorder such as schizophrenia, bipolar, or very severe depression, also known as psychotic depression. So you are likely to be given these antipsychotics if you have schizophrenia, if you have bipolar, if you have a personality disorder, or if you have severe depression or psychotic depression. And again, it's unlikely that you'll be given these in a first instance. You'll probably be given SSRIs first of all, but it depends on the severity. If you have just been diagnosed with schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder or something like that, then you're very likely to be put on antipsychotics. And I personally think they are amazing. When I was first put on them, whenever I've increased them, when I was first put on them, I was really scared about it. I was like, oh, antipsychotics, but it really does help. Just for me, it just quietens the mind, it stops the voices, stops the rapid thoughts, and just kind of, you're not in that non-reality kind of thing. It really, really helps. But other things that you may be prescribed antipsychotics if you have severe depression or psychotic depression, if you have an eating disorders, because again, eating disorders, you're probably seeing a different version of yourself than is real, so you're having delusions about your own body image. PTSD, so post-traumatic stress disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and generalized anxiety disorder can all be conditions where you are prescribed antipsychotics. Antipsychotic medicines do not cure these conditions. So with all of these things, then it's not about curative, it's about being able to manage, to alleviate the symptoms, help you manage your symptoms and give you a better quality of life. So I'll give you some examples of antipsychotics. Quetiapine, olanzapine, risperidone, I can't pronounce that one, lurasidone, sorry, can someone correct this if I say it wrong, aripiprazole, and ziprasidone, and paliperidone. So there are lots of those. I'm actually on quetiapine, the only one I can say, and I am on 400 milligrams daily of that. Now this does cause me severe drowsiness. In fact, for me it almost acts like a sedative, and yeah, really not so great. Right, finally, mood stabilisers. They're used primarily to treat bipolar disorder, mood swings associated with other disorders, and in some cases to augment the effects of other medications used to treat depression. So this will work alongside other meds. Lithium is one of the most common ones, which is an effective mood stabiliser, and is approved for the treatment of mania and the maintenance treatment of bipolar disorder. So if you have things such as schizophrenia or bipolar and things like that, these will be can cause psychosis, can cause mania, and puts you in a very dangerous situation if you are at that high level. So some people need these they need these mood stabilizers to kind of keep themselves stable, keep themselves from going, you know, too manic or too low. So if you have depression, schizoaffective disorders, and disorders that have sort of impulse control problems, then you're likely to be given a mood stabilizer. For someone, especially with those with mixed symptoms of mania and depression and rapid cycling bipolar, then the mood stabilizers are really great for those people. And examples of these are lamotrigine, oscarbazepine, and carbamazepine. So hopefully I've said those correctly. If I have not, please correct me in the space below. And possible side effects of that, again, you could get itching, nausea, vomiting, frequent urination, excessive thirst. I do remember that when I first went on quetiapine, although it's an antipsychotic, I was very thirsty. But sometimes the side effects for all of these meds, they may not happen at all. You may not get any, and if you are, that's great. But the more side effects you have, then you have to take other meds to manage those side effects. If you are getting, you know, something, you know, maybe it's upsetting your stomach, you might then need to take tablets to calm your stomach, etc. like that. So I hope that's given a nice overview of the different types of medications. I'm going to be going into more detail, but hopefully that will be something that you can kind of say, right, I know what an antidepressant means now, I know what that is, and hopefully you'll see the difference between the 4 types. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the space below. Please tell me about your experience with medications. Have you been given, what have you been diagnosed with, what meds have you had? Have you had good meds that have been really great? Have you had meds in the past that have made you more poorly? Whatever you want to tell me about, please tell me in the space below. And yeah, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.